carry the 3, multiply by 12 over 17? Nope. This formula is utterly beyond me.
This is Scientist Bernard Rand, sent to Horizon Point Station by order of the Council. While monitoring the reconstitution, I picked up strange readings in the old skip lab. The core appears to be pulling plasma tightly around it, not unlike a planet and its moons. Fascinating, though it thwarts my attempts to gather more data. Fortuitously, in searching the remains of the lab, I found an equation that could manipulate the core just enough to clear the chamber. And my way to professional acclaim. Let this be a record of Protectorate ingenuity. Bernard Rand, the man who marched fearlessly into chaos and tamed it.
Somehow, I expect Rand... Would appear we face down a more fearsome foe than ever before. Pure mathematics. Carry the 3, multiply by 12 over 17. Nope. This formula is utterly beyond me.
scientist Bernard Rand, sent to Horizon Point Station by order of the Council. While monitoring the reconstitution, I picked up strange readings in the old Skip lab. The core appears to be pulling plasma tightly around it, not unlike a planet and its moons. Fascinating, though it thwarts my attempts to gather more data. Fortuitously, in searching the remains of the lab, I found an equation that could manipulate the core just enough to clear the chamber. And my way to professional acclaim. Let this be a record of Protectorate ingenuity. Bernard Rand, the man who marched fearlessly into chaos and tamed it.
Somehow, I expect Rand's theories evaporated when put into practice. Much like Rand himself. Perhaps we can still utilize his calculations.
Must be the Sovereign's office. Guess money and power can't buy taste. Taking credit for someone else's genius? Can't say I'm surprised.
I should have expected that my sovereign would have solved such a complex equation himself. What a brilliant mind.
Best to get this equation inputted as soon as possible.
Sovereign's own private lab. I cannot believe how unscathed it all remains. Is it too much to hope it would remain this way? Another obstacle on our path overcome. Good work.
Got my lamps on 100.
Capture the reading.
Let me know when you need a distraction.
I am loath to admit I require medical.
Breaking for cover. And the Donnybrook too.
We should get up to the Providence quick light. Find that rift
and
module.
my hammer.
Attention. Please report to
It was easier than I expected. Now, let's find a way to unseal the hangar before we're noticed.
Attention, crew deck. Intruder alert. Be vigilant.
Strange bedfellows indeed. They just weren't
Guns cocked and loaded. Just give the signal.
Contractor. Join me. We have him. Well, glad you finally jimmied that open. Things are getting appreciably worse out there. We're running out of time to seize the rift and force it into corporeal insolvency. The presiding bishop wished for me to relay a message to you. Why she couldn't send her own courier, I couldn't say, but I'll attempt to simplify. The rift modulator is on the science deck, one floor up. Deck access is restricted without proper credentials. Imagine that twice as long and in the form of a distance problem. That means, of course, you'll either need to pilfer an access card, swindle some daft sod out of it, or find some other way around the deck restrictions. I shouldn't know. Perhaps search the pockets of those you've killed, Or find an air duct. We'll hold here to ensure you aren't flanked by reinforcements as you delve deeper in. Don't fritter away your life.
This unit is rated to address any of your needs. If your needs are emotional, rest assured that any silences on this unit's behalf are accepting and understanding. Please make a request. This ship is only for authorized Protectorate subjects. You are on this ship, thus you are a Protectorate subject. If you are not a Protectorate subject, please purchase a weapon from this unit and shoot yourself.
A veritable mosaic of conflict stands ahead, Commander. I propose we smash our way through.
Plasma tolerances exceeded.
Going out of sight. Don't need to give us.
Rectification required. Insertion disappear.
I shall reduce them to a slurry. I shall not stay your execution.
Focusing intensity. Please return to pinpoint source.
Troublemaker approach.
Plasma tolerances exceeded.
Attention.
Reckon we could look for those access credentials if you wanted to avoid a fight. Sneaking around's always an option too.
If we choose to keep from arbitrating the local scientists, we may be able to gather information on where the console's modulator is stationed.
Did you not hear the intruder alert from the crew deck? This is a very poor time to be loitering somewhere you should not. You'd best present a very convincing reason for your presence, lest I order our automechs to smear you across the floor. Oh, are you a rift specialist? You should share your progress with Chief Scientist Montserrat. He's in the rift chamber. Here, I'll lend you my access credentials as proof of your authorization.
Attention, science deck. Authorized visitor aboard. Do not be alarmed.
Better get a move on before this ramshackle sprattle of a station falls apart. Hustle up to the science wing. Get the rift modulator. I'll talk at you later.
Got my labs on an upfront problem.
Cowering courageously! I repudiate all vapid commercialism.
about your business. Or do not.
Troublemaker approaching.
No time to conversate.
Received word that you were here. Rift specialist, are you? What exactly was it that you needed? I'm rather short on time, as a gander outside might tell you. Yeah, well, we all have urgent needs. And mine is to keep my lab and hopefully the rest of this system from falling apart. I need the modulator for my own analysis. You can wait. The IRC. I did not realize you were a colleague of sorts. We haven't shared much of our findings with your branch, I'm afraid. But our results do match. Raw data from whatever a rift engulfs is preserved, yes, but the essence of a thing is not. Like a sense of self, for example, is lost forever. Further, there is no proof that such data can be stabilized or even edited. The Consul's plan is futile, completely. But he no longer listens to me, which is distressing. I've prepared a report for him showing how the very structure of the modulator makes what we're attempting impossible. But I doubt he will pay it much mind. Yes, but as I said, I fear the report won't do any good. It's clear you aren't bound by the same rules as the rest of us somehow. If he won't hear me out, perhaps a third party will have more luck. Here, use this keycard on the module over there. It will allow you to download my report and grant you access to the control deck. I hope you're able to sway him, because if you don't, we're all dead. Deck up in the control room. The console is the only one who has the means of controlling it, which makes your persuading him that much more necessary. Go now.
Oh, look at the size of that thing. No way we're getting the modulator. Shit. Best we can hope is getting.
Accessing report. Rift restoration analysis. Compiled by Chief Scientist Monserrate. Marked for delivery to Consul Thoreau.
Esteemed Consul, after much analysis, my conclusion is that the modulator we have worked tirelessly to build will not function as intended when used for reconstituting matter from rifts. Every test of reconstitution has resulted in demonstrable failure. Proceeding as we are now with Horizon Point Station will surely lead to severe, unanticipated consequences. The modulator is only effective at closing rifts from unsafe distances. Using it to close exacerbated rifts will certainly lead to the destruction of any vessel carrying it. Unfortunately, the data that we originally had hoped for from the ancient rifts detected in the far reaches of space untouched by humanity has not yielded any of its secrets. And we are now out of time. All of our recent readings suggest that we're on the verge of losing control of this rift. I recommend diverting from our current plan before it is too late for Arcadia. I've included extensive notes and annotations appended to the modulator schematics to substantiate these conclusions. I know you will guide us wisely, my dear Consul.
This can't be right. If skip drives are causing the rifts, why are they showing up past the frontiers of known space?
Our work here is not done. We must confront the Consul before anything can come to fruition regarding these schematics or the rift modulator.
Look at you, here before me. Surprised you could outrun these new legs of mine. They're what everyone's going to be wearing next fall. Well, I'm here now. Where's the rift modulator? So Consul Thoreau has everything directly under his control. I'd say that's remarkably competent for the Protectorate, but he is the one who's been pulling their strings all along. Did you find anything else of note? Wait, what? But rifts are caused by skip drive travel. Human-piloted skip drive travel. How is that possible? You're the one in the dark. I'm simply musing aloud. Much as I'm intrigued by the significance of all this, there's no time to dwell on it now. We need to confront the Consul. You might be savvy enough to talk him down, but his type requires a deft touch. You'll need to break him down brick by brick. If you're too adversarial, he'll simply shut down. Certainly. The doubt you cultivate up front will make him more susceptible to what comes after. And in case you aren't quite as sharp as you appear, be ready to fight.
You may try to reason with the Consul, but I suspect it is a worthless effort. Traitors typically only realize their errors through force.
I advise you to take this time to prepare and replenish supplies. See if you can snoop around and find a way to give yourself an advantage should these negotiations go south. And if you've anything else to say, say it now while you have the chance. I myself abhor unanswered questions and regrets.
Never would I ever have believed Auntie Cleo herself would walk through that door. But I haven't time to linger in the novelty. Sentinels, if you would.
Do I appear like someone afraid of a few guns? Give it up, Emery. You've lost this war. Have some dignity. You're coming off desperate.
On the contrary, this desperate action is what will save all of Arcadia and rid it forever of trespassers like you. Do not place his decision at my feet. I know it's difficult for the likes of you to fathom the concept of self-sacrifice, but he chose mental refreshment for the good of us all. And what am I to do but carry on his legacy? What am I to do but achieve what he could not? I'll only be killing a select number permanently. The worthy, however, will be resurrected and reformed so they may reach their full potential. Open your mind, Commander. Yes, I know well who you are. In any other situation, I might be compelled to take you apart and see how precisely it is you operate, but time, it would seem, isn't on your side. You are a relic of an impotent institution, propelled forward by nothing more than luck and foolhardy metal. But your justice is not mine. I've been following your progress closely, you know. When you began your dealings with the Order and the Corporatists, but now you're here, scurrying around my ship and attempting to thwart the Protectorate yet again. You think yourself clever, don't you? The Sovereign is indisposed. What's his is mine. And the victory I inevitably clench over you, over anyone, will be his in turn, even if he's not here to bask in it. Such bravado is unbecoming. Tell me.
Do you know how many bits our corporation lost when the delegation ships were destroyed? The savings from the deceased salaries hardly even make up for it.
It was a modest. I was able to buy the time to enact the very plan before you. Though, judging from that vacant expression on your face, it would appear you've no idea what I intend. Very well. Once the rift destroys Arcadia, we shall edit the information stored within it and use the modulator to reshape our colony into its perfect form. Horizon Point's destruction all those years ago was a tragedy, yes, but without it, we might never have opened our eyes to our true purpose. When the Matriarch discovered the first skip drive, she set us on a course to elevate humanity. We're now writing our path, and I will do my part as the Architect intended. Rifts contain the data of everything they have engulfed, and we have the power to edit that data as we so choose. Our perfect society is within reach. And all supposedly serendipitous events have led to this moment. In the Matriarch's younger years, she found a crashed ship deep in the Earth. Within it, the very first skip drive. She dissected this tech, learned its secrets, and enabled us to produce them en masse. And, well, that eventually led to the manifestation of rifts. But it was not until well after Horizon Points, it is as the Grand Architect designed. And believe you me, I've no intention of letting you thwart our securing of a better future, one free of doubt and greed. I've found when most... Listen closely. Since you took your time scurrying about that alone should tell you that we don't make our own circumstances. Without this discovery, we may never have realized the power we now possess with the rifts. Yes, the great architect works in mysterious ways. What else can I do but what is bidden?
Beware, Commander. The Consul is a master manipulator. Trying to speak with him may be more dangerous than simply slaying him on the spot.
You're entirely out of your jurisdiction, and were I within reach, I would strike down this apostate dog myself.
Consul Emery Thoreau, I accuse you of perfidy of the highest degree, traitorism against the Sovereign and his Protectorate. I find you guilty on all counts. Prepare for absolution.
You overeager fools. This is the last mistake you'll ever make.
To battle, Paul!
Give the order
Seems all my considerable efforts here have been ill spent. Total rift destabilization is imminent. Our last resort is our only resort now. We need to fly the rift modulator in.
You don't have some dubious plan for this eventuality? I owe Niles 5 bits.
Oh, brighten up, everyone. Not all of us need go, but, someone present will need to take one for the team. Yes, when I said we, I didn't mean the royal we, you understand. The Order and I will use the schematics and the processed rift data to mass-produce modulators that are usable at a distance. These pesky rifts will soon no longer plague the colonies.
Woe-bedamned circumstances that led us to this point. Is there not some other way we might solve our current predicament?
Well, Now, I suppose this is goodbye, isn't it? I should say how I appreciate you helping me gain control of Arcadia, to promise you it will be a better place for all, and avoid tearing up about how this all fell to you.
Knew it'd come down to us. Always does.
We've accomplished much together. I'll not see it brought to an end by the Consul's posthumous scheming. I admire your courage. I shall not allow Arcadia to fall to perfidy in your absence. I promise this.
Commanders sacrificed themselves to save the galaxy. No one knew their motives or thoughts in those final moments, though legends grew around this mythical agent of the Earth Directorate all the same. Paradise Island's Fairfield remained a burnt-out ruin following its destruction by the Vox station. Auntie's Choice was too preoccupied with galactic expansion to spare resources rebuilding one small company town. Auntie's Choice assumed control over the day-to-day workings of Matriarch's Mercy, the better to monitor their new colleagues in the Order. The monastery, however, returned to normal operation, tracking the clockwork of the grand plan. The monastery's abbot became a scapegoat for recent tragic events, having not detected Wily's dastardly schemes. His superiors demoted him, mainly to show their corporatist allies that academics could keep their people in line too. Having died at the peace talks, Augustine DeVries' treachery was never known to the Earth Directorate. She is forever remembered as the star agent who tragically went missing during her mission. Val continued to serve the Earth Directorate faithfully for many more years than should be possible, giving automechs like her everywhere a reputation as stable and reliable. As a result, more Valerie units were put into service, while fewer human agents were deployed into the field. As he rose through the Earth Directorate ranks, Niles pressed for a field directive to deploy the new Val units only when the situation posed significant risk. The policy reduced agent casualties by a significant margin. Oddly enough, in-office deaths increased by a not insignificant margin. Agent Niles Ibarra achieved the rank of commander, earning renown as a formidable agent, unafraid to challenge the status quo within the Earth Directorate. He recruited his friend Zebulon Tran to the Earth Directorate, a gesture of gratitude for not airing the Directorate's dirty laundry. Together, they vowed to reform the agency from within, so it might never again bargain with authoritarian governments. Ultimately, Niles rose to the position of Secretary General. His term saw the Earth Directorate at its most popular, or, in the eyes of corporations and tyrannical governments, most feared. Because of her commander's refusal to help with her graft, Inez's health rapidly declined, even as she tried to make a name for herself on her own. She died of sepsis during her solo travels in Arcadia. Tristan never uncovered who actually killed the Supreme Arbiter, a failing that chipped away at his ability to arbitrate. His once promising calling eventually ended with him stripped of rank, programming menial automechanicals somewhere deep within the husk of Protectorate society. Asa finally achieved her dream of dying in a rift. All it took was a daring and blood-soaked heist of a modulator to create a rift that she then summarily leapt into. Thus Asa remained a fanatical member of the Glorious Dawn, spreading the truth of the rifts to her final agonized breath. With the modulator schematics shared as joint intellectual property, Auntie's Choice and the Order's partnership remained steady, despite the need for constant compromise. For a time, the Arcadia colony thrived. Auntie Cleo went through the motions of accommodating the Order, yet privately aspired to keep free trade anything but free. She began a new initiative. Any corporation or government that refused her trade conditions was promptly dealt with, either via takeover or strategic use of rifts. Auntie made her first public appearance in years, inspiring a fashion trend in bubble helmets. In no time at all, she won more public support than Ruth, which she sought to use as leverage when the time was right. Adrift without firm leadership, Protectorate subjects struggled with post-war life. A small band of hardliners collaborated to preserve their society in the face of Arcadia's new leadership. When Sovereign Varric was discovered in mental refreshment, the Order and Auntie's Choice bickered over what to do with him. They ultimately decided to announce his death, while letting him live the rest of his addled days behind closed doors aboard the undisputed claim. Until one day, Amos stumbled upon the Sovereign's private quarters and freed him, rocking the colony with a brief scandal. Despite the recent tumultuous events in Arcadia, it was business as usual for Free Market Station. Sub Rosa continued to supply the colony in the wake of the commander's actions. Unable to die in their sacred rift after it was closed, the Glorious Dawn heeded a new calling, seeking the modulators needed to create new rifts, so that they could die in those instead. The dangerous experimental research of Marisol's contact from Point Obviation lived on, with a Seer predicted 11.9% probability of yielding a universe-ending catastrophe. Meanwhile, an entrepreneurial work group of chemistricians unveiled a new flavor of Purple Berry Crunch. The release of the skip drive schematics to the public domain resulted in new and exciting opportunities for independent manufacturers. However, unchecked use of the drives would ultimately lead to an even greater proliferation of rifts, once again imperiling the galaxy. Fortunately, the Order stepped in. Leveraging their partnership with Auntie's Choice, the Order sold rift modulators to all skip drive manufacturers for a modest price, thus preventing another outbreak of rifts, while Auntie's Choice made a tidy profit. The rift compromise between the Order and Auntie's Choice led to prioritized assistance for the colonies that agreed to favorable trading terms. The so-called Auntie's Loyalty Program tripled the corporation's net worth. Meanwhile, the Order was able to sermonize their version of scientism alongside Auntie's marketing and PR onslaught, at least to colonies in Auntie's Loyalty Program. Many outside died because their rifts weren't closed in time. All of these events turned on the decisive actions of the Earth Directorate agent and their unique way of navigating Arcadia, its disparate factions, social complexities, ubiquitous product placement, and arsenal of absurdly satisfying weaponry. But through it all, and to this day, Earth has remained inexplicably dark.